One powerful thing about domination is that we unlock topics as well. We can talk about deeper and deeper issues, and one of the super duper big issue right now is a goddamn fucking UK. UK stinks up the rest of the world like nothing else. Like, I watch TikTok and now I'm sucked into the UK vortex of everyone is complaining about rape gangs from the Stan countries, basically. Accumulating and taking over just like Russia is trying to take over Ukraine. Except UK is bending over. It's actually say, give me more, daddy. Otherwise, I would be racist if I wouldn't fucking stuck up to these fucking Fire Nation countries. Like, what are you doing, UK? Are you okay? Because you're UK, right? You're not okay. I'm sorry, I would have misspelled if I said okay. There's a big fucking difference between being UK and okay. And I feel like UK citizens have to be warned. This domination episode warns UK citizens to leave their country because fucking hell, dude. Someone has to celebrate Vortex year after all. And you're very welcome to seek refuge in my country. I mean, people will have to face property tax. And someone has to help them, basically. Upkeep their property. Just in case we have way too much, man. Can't even zoom to the damn UK right now. It's a tiny place, but it screams so loud. The problem I have is not UK right now. Necessarily. I'm scared. I'm scared of cookies. Only necessary cookies, bro. Don't shove it down my throat. Yeah, I need to actually save Europe map. Or all the maps inside my engine right now. Because this is crazy. I'll have to save it, man. Put that shit on to-do list. Add every map into influence tracker. You're not gonna get the privilege, you'll have to collect all the Dragon Balls yourselves. I technically know the culture of this one country, and that's it. Everything else is, like, semi-isolated from each other. The only thing we get is, like, this cultural explosion that is Eurovision, but naturally, we are barred through borders and languages, and it's just, we don't want to deal with any of this shit. And some of my friends, like, one of my friends is in UK and probably denying existence of anything. And as long as he's not being attacked directly, it's like fine. Right? Because technically refugees are kind of harmless. They can only attack little girls, basically. And prove to you that you cannot build a family in UK, you'll never be able to do that. So if you have a value called family, then you probably want to fucking leave already immediately. Besides, your phone can translate any language at this point. You will have no problem with the rest of Europe. Maybe rest of Europe was actually a problem to you, but it shouldn't be anymore. For technology has moved a needle forwards. You can move now. I cannot move. I'm fucking stuck in a scheme where government pays me money. I can't let go of that, unfortunately. But the Western Europe is not only capable, but actually incentivized to leave their countries and seek for something better. Now they are refugees. Like, we have seen TikTok already. I think I've shown. They are refugees in their own country now. Because their country is being invaded. How cute is that, isn't it? The latest and the greatest Eurovision developments, by the way. And I found out that Ireland exports the most blood for some reason. And then there's like this demonic sacrificial thing that actually took like 6th place or something. And you're like, fuck off, dude. You can't do that. Or 8th place. And then you have some gay guy, basically, who gets nothing. Who gets last place. Because UK, nobody fucking respects UK anymore. Wait, what is this? There are islands? Parok Islands? Cool. Iceland is not as isolated as I expected. I mean, technically it has even a neighboring name. Which, this might just be the only neighboring name in existence on the map. Where you just replace one letter and you have a completely different country, but that's very still up close. If you can call that close. I don't know if you can do that to anything else. I mean, the second funniest thing is Austria and Australia. That's the second funny thing you can do. And then you can only play with like flags. This flag looks like that flag, but with a star. And Lithuanians are like, I want the star. I want star of Myanmar, bro. I want this flag. My flag does not have star. Can we exchange flags? We're gonna pay extra, you know. Probably paint the star blue though. I don't know. It can't be just white. But jokes aside, like, can we address the elephant in the room? Like, why is the UK government bending over just because racism? You know, how is that good enough to allow people to invade your country and then attack your people and then get benefits at the same time? What has happened? Is this the active fight against racism? Or can we actually decode this whole situation? Again, I think UK government loves to be raped. We just have to like peel away all the people who are honorable and reasonable. We have to peel away, and it's like let the refugees just take over. Basically, if UK government loves them more than its own people, then the people have to leave for the time being. You know, they shouldn't pay taxes by any means. They shouldn't participate in by any means be drafted into war. That would be the last fucking straw. Because UK government, if they don't love their own people, they will just send them to war versus the nearest Ukraine, basically. Fuck that, you know? All I'm saying, this is Russia 2.0. It just haven't downloaded yet. It's doing one of those things, you know, downloading Russian values from Russian countries. The stan countries are literally Russia. They just stan, you know, on their own terms. They don't just bend over to Russia. They want to stand themselves. All right. So UK is just like doing that. Now we're actually Russians now. More of our population is the Russian, so we are Russia now. That's what they're doing. They're actually overloading their population with refugees, so they become a whole different country. And this is unprecedented because, you know, we always respected United Kingdom, right? As the only English-speaking country, and now they have lost their identity, so what else are they gonna be doing? We're gonna call it the only abandoned island. Where only Ooga Booga is happening on that island anymore. The abandoned island. We just gonna call it that, you know? United Kingdom, abandoned island. That's a natural transition, isn't it? I guess the UK government is not capable of understanding why rape is a problem, why increasing crime rates is a problem, why not being able to contain the download and just spreading into your culture like a disease, that's a problem. You know, they don't understand because, oh shit, I don't want to be racist though. Man, I don't understand the racism, but I don't want to be that. That's like really bad for me. I feel really bad right now. And I don't care if people scream. I can just put them to jail and they will stop screaming. You know? That's the level of logic to fucking monkey up their ass. Logic. Deep up their ass, they shove that monkey. Woo, ha, logic, yeah. Woo! Ooh, monkey up my ass, logic. Feels good to do nonsense, basically. Well, unfortunately, people are not educated, and technically I don't have to educate, but there are regions in the world, like, you would welcome an American into your life, you would not welcome a Stan in your life. Unless the Stan actually stands for you and he genuinely earns money in a most straightforward way, you know? No one deserves benefits. Are you fucking kidding me? They deserve a job. Absolutely. Come do job. If you can't do If you cannot do job, we're gonna send you to a shitty fucking place. And unfortunately, we already have one. We have abandoned island to send refugees into. UK, because they love refugees so much and they actually says that to the rest of the world and rest of the Europe. The moment Germany and France is like, we don't like refugees anymore, they will just shove it up UK's ass, bro. They're just gonna collect that shit and whoop, you can have them. You like refugees way more. Already Sweden have denounced refugees and kind of reversed the whole process. I'm not sure how good is going on. So let's fucking ask, how is Sweden? Are you doing right now? I was what the fuck? I hope you got reported, bro.
You were an innocent story there.
Yes, but I'm an anomaly. I'm an exception.
We don't even know how to fucking check for sanity. And that was last episode. This is why I say we unlocking things to talk about. Because once we start dominating, the dominoes fall one after another. We find things to talk about. With highest esteem we can possibly pull. And if my country, because of me, gets reputation and attention, that's just a win-win. I don't think I will be kicked out and be, oh no, our country's racist. And we were proud to be racist, actually. We don't actually like... I mean, Speed is afraid of books, so might as well. What? Why can't I speak Lithuanian with this? Well, that's evil, dude. That's fucked up. At least it's not racist, you know? Racist towards racism. Maybe our culture doesn't like other races. Also, I've just seen a very interesting TikTok. I don't know if I saved it. It's like, what is the most racist country? And it's like India and South Africa. At least these are notorious, and Lebanon or whatever. Lebanon is not interesting to me. But India is the most racist country, guys. I wonder why. Because they're poor. They don't want to deal with other fucking people. When you're poor, you create a tight culture, basically, and you definitely don't want to be bothered by other people, so you're going to be racist towards anyone else and going to try and scam them of their money, and just, that's it. Don't get me started on South Africa. South Africa, this is where Elon Musk came from. The most racist fucking place on earth right now. I just don't think I saved the TikTok because I didn't thought I would be talking about stuff like that. With every discussion, I sort of like flex how big of a fucking incel I am. These are two like three refugee stories I can pull basically for you guys. In the row, basically in the fucking row. In the same row. I just need to like upload like 3 more likes and they're gonna be in the same fucking row. With this being like the capitalism depiction.
Homer doesn't need to understand the system. He just sits in the chair.
This is capitalism, by the way. There's always a person ready to occupy of like, we would like to have a person here, but the system itself does not actually work. I've discussed that over here. The system does not work. Everyone is independent, and they don't actually understand how to do their job properly. They just know how to do their job to get paid, not to do their job properly. That's not important for them. Because we're all independent. We all just want money in the end. We're all just pulling rope for more cashews. To beat that Mr. Beast challenge, we become like vicious animals. But when the camera is rolling, we don't want to be a vicious animal anymore. We want to be very kind to each other, except there's gonna be anomalies, right? It kind of feels like the story of racism is very similar. Of like, until the cameras are rolling, the government is just gonna be dodging all the bullets, all the criticism. And again, I can't just receive 3 things in a row and be like, hey, UK government, everything's fine with you. No bad reports are happening. I would love to hear the rest of the fucking Europe, but okay, you guys learned English very well. I mean, you're so fucking sophisticated people. And you scream really loud right now of like, look at us, we have refugees, and it's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? We'll never know. We'll never fucking know. And since I don't want to be racist, it's probably a good thing that they're screaming about refugees. They're happy, you know? See, morality is that fucking twisted, and if you don't understand why it's bad to allow an invasion of your country and giving things for free, like, this is basic capitalism 101. You don't ever give things for free. Unless you're the government. And then you can bleed money. Reign over your people. Spread it equally. Because the moment you target a population, especially foreign population, holy moly, dude. You will create a rat infestation of anyone who's illegible to take your blood money, basically. The government blood money, where people pay taxes and the government just bleeds to a certain thing outside of their culture, outside of actually what gave them money in the first place. And it's like, what is this funneling system, basically? There is a fourth video, and the fourth video actually started What the Fuss episode. I'm pretty sure it literally started this guy. You know?
Is it ironic for me to complain about third world illegal immigration and then say that I want to leave the UK and become an immigrant? Well, imagine this, right? Imagine you lived in a small town and the local council told you that they were going
It is always supposed to be important, during capitalism especially, to find win-win situations. Some people will not be able to handle that pressure, and unfortunately, UK will have to be renamed into Abandoned Island. But if I hope for the rest of the world is capable of actually withstanding the understanding that with capitalism you have to win-win. You cannot just donate your organs to someone else. You cannot just give away things for free. You have to make people work. And making people work is not slavery, it's something we do all the time. To survive, we work. Isn't that crazy? We have to make people work. If they don't work, they cannot actually enter a culture. This is so simple. It has no racial implications. Everyone has to work to be able to withstand the cost of living, to be able to buy food, to be able to have. They're not illegal. Like, there's actually propaganda, by the way, being pushed left and right. Like, people actually want to fight for this. They actually want to bend over the same way as the government. And it's like, oh, that's where the self-esteem is. That is crazy to me. This is why I have to put my fucking feet down and be like, you want to fight? You want to fight for this? You want to argue for this issue? Are you fucking sure about that? You want to scream into my fucking ear? You want to get banned for this shit? Come at me, bro. Again, the way that I've treated people, the way that I banned, it's going to be permanent. If you send me a one-liner and you're denying, basically, you're in denial, that means you don't want to argue, because arguing is making sure that you're making small steps. You're moving my pieces and I'm moving your pieces. Every move that you make for me, I have to make for you. The move of denial of like, oh, you cannot move my piece, then you don't understand what we're playing then. There's nowhere to go except Poland. I can assure you, Lithuania is fine too. Alright, we're neighboring Poland. And I'll gonna give it, I like it. Look, it's a hot topic, my friends. I can easily dismiss these people as Russian because they're downloading a Russian country from Stan countries. They want to download any refugee. Like, these Stan countries, they have been waging wars for many years now. So for them to send people into other country is just another war. It's no different. And what they're gonna be doing is, like vultures, they're gonna be lurking around and seeing what they can get away with. And what they can get away with is already now, holy moly, situationship. They will obviously start by raping the culture, basically. Because that's the thing that people can get away with without actually harming the culture itself. They take the women and they rape them. Nobody dies, nobody gets hurt. just some women get to be used for someone else's pleasure and someone else's boosting someone else's esteem, basically. For free, by the way. Refugees get everything for free.
Come on boats, up in hotels, and they're going to be around your community. That might make you feel a little bit uneasy, at least if you have some sort of sanity left. You might feel a little bit uneasy about people who are...
Yeah, because they're being treated so much better. And it's like, Eastern Europeans come to UK to work. It was just like the most obvious thing to them. Why can they understand? Why don't they have to stand themselves to be treated that much better? Why are these countries like treated normally and they just go out there to work and they get ripped off because they still have to pay rent? These countries, they go to UK to work and it's like great. And Germany too. And then Norway. They go to these slightly Western places, slightly more advanced. They work. Now they cannot actually assimilate. Culture-wise, they still have to go back to their fucking country. They still have to be kicked out and actually be told that, well, you're probably not going to be able to afford rent, will you? Just go back to your fucking country, please. For your own sake. But here, we imported stand countries to UK to wage war. Because literally, this is civil war. The more illegals come from stand countries, they will create this into a war zone. Guaranteed 100%. I'm putting my, expectations down because this is the vector. This is where things are going, and this is very predictable. And unfortunately, no illegals can happen in my comment section either. If you deny this, then unfortunately we'll have to deport you. And you will never be able to come back. We'll be able to, with our very high level detection system, we will detect whether you wrote another comment, and that second comment will not be able to appear. Which means, unfortunately, you might not like subscribing to my channel because you're already muted forever. And there's nothing you can do because you're so independent. There's no one you can ask for help to. No one you can pay at the moment. I would like to reinstate your ability to write messages as long as you pay $5. That's pretty nice. I would like to give that opportunity. But right now, YouTube is still not that advanced. And I don't see race, my friends. I just see pieces of shit who type in one-liner to deny my ability to play the game of argumentation in learning about things in the world. Denial is the most insulting form of interaction, because denial is just like slapping your hand down on a chessboard of like, I put the pieces together though. I put effort to put pieces in the right place. Why you slap your hand on the fucking pieces? You are illegal before you are doing illegal things. Technically, I guess it's correct to not call them illegals. Alright. But, however, I do call them illegals for if someone comes to your country not for work, but for benefits. That's a little bit too much. That sounds pretty illegal. Now, whether the government bends over to the illegal stuff, which is illegal to just be weak for the government. It's illegal for the government to be weak. I will put it for you guys to read. And when the government is going to be weak, when it actually bleeds money to outside influence. And I can't fucking type, no matter how hard I try. Illegal. I have to stand for these people because I can actually communicate with these people. Have you communicated with the refugee? When was the last time you communicated with a refugee? I don't even know what language they speak. Here's another thing that is pretty fucking illegal. Illegal to fear for your life. Because that fear might actually also bleed to someone else who don't deserve your fear. Unfortunately, it might be too late and UK citizens might have to leave their country. Just like this guy suggests.
We've arrived in the UK and we have no idea who they are because they have no passports and they've chosen to get a boat rather than get a...
It's losing its true identity. It was never United Kingdom to begin with. Was it? I still haven't been taught about the United Kingdom thing. What is this? What kingdoms have been united? Also, the queen died, so I'm sorry. Maybe the king is not really handling this very well. You know, maybe the positivity is also dead, and it's like, let the UK kind of like transition to whatever the fuck shithole country it's gonna become. It's gonna be like a Stan portal or something. United Stan. I mean, that sounds pretty good. Now, there's a lot of India also coming into the country, and India is a lot worse than Stan countries, by the way. India will grab power, go as far as they can to grab as much power as possible. That's all they understand. If you have any seats of power available, they're just gonna sit there and be like, no, that's mine. That's mine, and they're just gonna keep doing that. India is a lot worse and a lot more fucking dangerous than you can possibly imagine. They have the most people. They have the most attempts in stealing your power than anywhere in the world. They have the most people, period. That's a whole sentence that actually still makes sense. They can keep sending a person after a person from India to any given country and take over whatever seat of power. Not just take over a region based on the number of people. They can take over seats of power. And they have taken over YouTube. They have taken over fucking UK almost. Almost, bro. We had prime minister that's Indian, right? Crazy. They're trying to take over fucking America. Do you understand? Ramaswamy. They try to take over every single fucking place in the world right now because the world is in a fucking apocalypse. And wherever Indians gonna just take over, holy shit, man. Prepare yourselves to be racist. You'll love racism. I'll tell you that much. When apocalypse is happening, it's probably very important to halt all the developments of outside cultures, basically, within your country. It's best to fucking halt everything, to be as racist as possible, because holy shit, you gotta freeze, okay? We're going through a transition period. I know you're very eager to take over as much fucking power and money as you can possibly get away with. So the Stan countries are in it for the money, the Indian are in it for the power. And South Africans are just super racist. I don't know how they determine that, but I stand behind that too.
It's quite.
And Australians are filled with Marmite and disgusting human beings. I did not warrant to insult Australians, but someone has to fucking pick up a middle finger. Someone has to start a fight with me, you know? Austria is better than Australia. I said it. Come at me, bro. Risk of what? Cultural diversity? Get raped, please. As an insult, I would like to have my own contained cultural diversity of like, where is women for my country? I want to meet women from my country, ooga booga. This is the level of insulification that I have actually received from my own country. I don't need no other fucking cultures, please. Jumping on top of me and just stealing everything around me, basically. Do I fucking need that? No. And people who have waged war, there's disturbing and scary. Indians are scary and Stans are scary. They have power. Alright? They have been around crazy-ass people their whole lives. And they know how to be crazy themselves. They just need an outlet. They need to organize something. Especially when they have another culture of just like pure fucking destruction, it sounds like. This literally happens in New York City. I mean, it makes sense.
Happen. So then.
And basically, that's why Trump took office, like to clean shit up before things get a lot more messy. Except Trump has its own intentions beyond that point, beyond just a cleanup. And also his cleanup seems to be pretty off-putting for a lot of people. Pretty unreasonable. So I'm like, okay. I hope at least it's more net positive that he's actually able to clean up his country fast enough to be able to show the example to other countries. That America can actually do one thing that they can show to everyone else. Here's how cultural diversity is propagated, right? Someone comes with different culture. Alright, I always misspelled something. One person comes from different culture. Then you press like. You press like, you vote, and then that person multiplies to 2 people. Then you press like again, of like, we want more of this culture. This is a very interesting culture. Then that culture multiplies into 4 people, and so on. You can keep on multiplying, keep on cookie clicking, basically. And if you do exponential growth, you only need to click 32 times. Over 32 years, you can already take over a fucking country if you want to. But everyone has to press like, you know? More than 50 people have to press like. And if someone presses dislike, we'll need even more votes than 50%. People cannot be divided on this issue. We wouldn't like that. We don't really get to see how they live, what they provide, basically. We have to see the whole thing, the whole cultural package. So far, the cultural package was pretty big disappointment. If we wanted diversity, alright? The only thing you're gonna get is war. War. If these men could be drafted into war, that would be interesting, but they can't be. You cannot hand a fucking gun to a refugee. Although, you should, if they are refugee, they should come back to their fucking country and take over a piece of land for themselves. You know? If they're truly refugee, they should go back and just clean shit up in their own country. They just needed guns, you know? You sell them guns, they work for a little bit, you sell them guns, you can go back now. I don't know, man. I don't know where the actual progress is, but right now what's going on is absolute shit decay of the world. It's completely normal, completely expectable that during the apocalypse, the world is going to decay for years to come. I hope it's just 3 more years, including this one. I hope that this madness actually ends and people come to their senses of how logically and systematically things are being fixed, and that they cannot just fucking yell and deny someone else's point without expanding. You know, you gotta expand, bro.
Can you say to the council, excuse me, can
This guy made the first move. You have to expand to not fucking look like an idiot.
you actually not do that, because that's putting me and my family at risk? And they say, no, we're going to do it anyway. And not only that, but we're going to use your money to do it. Would it not be reasonable for me to want to move to another estate, another area? Because if you don't think that that's reasonable, then you've been seriously and heavily propagandized. Is it ironic for me to complain about third world illegal immigration and then say that I want to leave the UK and become an immigrant? Well, imagine this, right? Imagine you lived in a small town.
It is ironic, it is disgusting.
And the local council told you that they were going to be putting third world illegal immigrants that have come on boats up in hotels, and they're going to be around your community. That might make you feel a little bit uneasy, at least if you have some sort of sanity left. You might feel a little bit uneasy about people who have arrived in the UK and we have no idea who they are because they have no passports and they've chosen.
They don't have ability to communicate with the rest of the fucking culture. Where's the cultural diversity if we cannot even talk to these people? None of that shit exists. If the only thing I hear is bad crimes that they have committed and all the free things that they're getting, basically, we don't get any cultural diversity. We're getting ripped off. Okay, if you really like this, and I'm not sure why the fuck you like this, I'm pretty sure you're getting ripped off. And we're just kind of trying to tell you, you're not actually getting what you paid for, and you're paying with a fucking heavy tax because you're making enemies as you go. You just enemy over here, oh shit, one of them wants to stab me in the fucking face. But I thought we were culturally the same, but this guy wants to stab me. Yeah, there's gonna be cultural diversity. There's half of the people in UK that will want to kick you in the fucking balls. That's a lot of diversity, and I hope you accept that new reality, that diversity just literally bubbled within your country because people split, they divided into some kind of 2 camps. If you want diversity, you want left and right on an issue. And I hope you bend over to that diversity because it's happening. It's happening really fast.
To get a boat, right?
At risk of what? Of like, oh, you're gonna tell that these people make crimes, you know, that they don't provide to the system? Are you really gonna say that? Because holy shit, that's so racist. It's literally the assumption you have to make. The natural assumption. Just like Mexicans have to work. They cannot just be smuggling drugs and cheating the system, basically. Mexicans, either they have to work, they come to country legally. I mean, legally through proper channels, prove that their culture is very valuable and that there should be attempt to get more of it in a legal manner, in a very controlled manner.
Rather than get a plane, so for that very exact reason, so that we don't know who they are. It's quite reasonable to think, okay, I'd rather that didn't happen. So then you say to the council, excuse me, can you actually not do that because that's putting me and my family at risk? And they say, no, we're gonna.
Let me remind everyone that military should point the guns at the corrupted government first. If they feel the government is corrupted, military should be scared the most. Military is always on the brink of deciding if they have to serve the government or they have to revolt. They are always supposed to be deciding this shit. They cannot allow themselves to just follow orders and attack the nearest country. This cannot be afforded. Clearly Russia is losing, and it's shocking to the rest of the world of like, wow, people can't just invade other countries without expecting to lose. That's crazy, isn't it? And a lot of support is going to happen to the country that is just defending itself. Very interesting. You should not lose your man as a general to just a stupid, wimpy government points a finger at the newest enemy, basically. Military, first and foremost, has to be on their toes to revolt against a corrupted government that they don't like. They should be politically charged to always discuss whether they want to support the government or not. Because they are the fucking government fist. And if the government fist is capable of smashing straight into the fucking noggin, basically, all of a sudden the government has to rethink because it will be wiped out. Nothing will be remaining of that government. A new government will be instantly elected on the ashes of the old one. And I'm talking dead bodies here. I'm talking real quick wipeout situation. Otherwise, you can always leave your country, bitch. These exact same words that Mr. Stalin is telling his, people from below him, oh wow, his citizens are so below. So military gets to decide most of the political decisions, technically, as long as they're united enough and capable of communicating with each other. And I hope that happens. Now with ChatGPT, they can just trust ChatGPT of like, is my government corrupted? Can we talk about this? Can we discuss this? Can we elaborate on my feelings because I'm having issues? ChatGPT can actually help. Start a communication, basically. We have technology. Let's not forget.
We're going to do it anyway. And not only that, but we're going to use your money to do it. Would it not be reasonable for me to want to move to another estate, another area? Because if you don't think that that's reasonable.
Don't talk to these people. Don't give them fucking energy because that's all they care about. Is they are not reasonable. And you're wasting so much time trying to argue your way through it. It's like, wow. These people are insane. You're surrounded by fucking illegals. Not talking to other countries. They're just criminals. They have nothing to provide to you but insults. That's how you know. And technically, maybe there is some cultural diversity because we're all trying to like pull criminals and illegals out of here. And we're talking about our own people who are just so toxic, so fucking disgusting. They have to go to lower level countries to live a much more enriched cultural life. If If you want cultural enrichment, you know how you can do that? You can do that by traveling, by bending over backwards. If you really want to fucking buy some, you cannot just import it to your country that easily. And it sounds pretty expensive. I wouldn't do that to my country. I don't think I need that shit. In a way, it's like cultural enrichment. Do you need additional body to just sleep, like a Pakistani man to just sleep there in your room, in one of your rooms? Because that's what it takes. Like, if you double the population, that means there's one fucking dude sleeping in the other side of the room, basically. And it's like, wow, diversity. If we're not friends, then I don't get any benefits. If that relationship does not work out, I only have a fucking asshole who eats my food next to me, basically. Who I still have to teach my culture. I have to enrich them culturally. They don't enrich me culturally. Can you imagine?
The UK has fallen so far, I don't know if it'll ever come back, because when I heard of this story for the first time, I literally
Well, it's not gonna come back. Abandoned islands,
somebody
miss.
had made it up as rage bait. I absolutely could not believe it, so when I did more research into it and found that each and every single part of this story could be confirmed, I was livid. How could this not cause a worldwide outcry? How could the streets demanding...
What you see here is future politicians, future people in power, basically, because they're voicing their opinions. That's what it takes. You just need to voice your opinion, and all of a sudden you're on top of everyone else. Being able to actually be concerned and potentially go to jail because you're going to be a political prisoner. You're going to be taken to jail because, wow, you are challenging our politics. How dare you? We can put you to prison, though. Aren't you afraid of being racist? When I said that the legal system is put in place to destroy legality of everything, means that they're not going to look at you as a nice little person that's voicing opinions and using free speech. What they're gonna see is racism and harassment, and you're gonna go to jail. And a lot of people are actually amplifying this voice of like, this is illegal. This has to stop. We have to drag this clown into jail to get raped by the government and by people within the jail confounds. This is, by the way, concentration camping, basically. Taking political prisoners is creating the new Nazi movement, basically. And if people support Nazism, I'm sorry, bro. For Nazism to take over, and we know that it's a whole fucking thing, basically. For Nazism to take over, there has to be a belief that puts people into prison when they use the thing called free speech. And free speech is like, I didn't harm anyone, I'm just asking questions of why is anyone concerned about this? This is what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about fucking blue lollipops. Why is nobody concerned about blue lollipops, bro? They fucking paint my tongue blue. No, I'm not racist against blue lollipops, you pieces of shit. Blue lollipops have to be abolished, just like pennies. Fuck these blue lollipops, bro. People have ability to be concerned about whatever the fuck they want to be concerned about, and that free speech is applicable to everywhere. America is a very developed country, it's a very carefully crafted country, and we should take example, and we should take their legal matters to everywhere else. Free speech is free everywhere because it stops wars. When we're fighting with just wars alone, nobody fucking dies. Isn't that crazy? This is why free speech is foundational to the world. And the moment we start moving one person to another country, it's no longer free speech, it's invasion when we don't like it. And we would like to rewind and reverse the fucking damage being done, basically. But you cannot just deport that person, but you cannot just let them live here and leech. You gotta make a fucking choice, do you?
justice from the UK government for this disgusting, abhorrent act and abuse of justice, if you could even use that word in this situation. For those of you who are unaware of what I'm talking about, there was a call made to police in South Yorkshire of a young girl screaming. They showed up to the location of the screams, and there they found two 13-year-old girls completely wasted, drunk off their asses, who were barely clothed. They were basically completely naked, and they were in a home with 7 Pakistani men. Obviously, you would think that the police would arrest these men for sexually abusing these girls, for giving them alcohol underage, for who knows what. We have no idea what was happening to these poor girls, but they didn't. Not only did they not arrest the men, no. They arrested the 13-year-old girl who was...
They're not allowed to arrest Muslims in UK. Then, if that is the case, it is very likely that the government is corrupted and, martial law has to be declared. And martial law means military takes over. Not the government, but military takes over. Military can do whatever the fuck they need to do to reinstate a new government with new tools at their disposal, because military always have the edge of technology ready for them to dispose the current government and reinstate a new government with a new set of voting systems. They can use drones and be like, hey, do you want to vote for this person or that person? What do you believe in, bro? Just click a few buttons for me. That's fine, bro. Martial law has to be declared in UK. If you want to save your fucking country, that's what has to happen. No government official can declare martial law. They can only give in to the martial law. They can only jump into the pool of martial law. They can only raise their hand and be like, please, martial law over here. Farage has to be like, please, martial law. This is really dangerous right now, what's happening in our country. We are very corrupted right now. Only martial law can save from a corrupted government. There's nothing else. And as I'm discussing these things, I'm slowly peeling off and realizing what has to be done, what moves have to be done. Sweden has declared martial law. They have employed military, I've heard, so it must be true. They have done it. They put military to force refugees out. And that's it. That's all it took. They didn't have to fucking destroy their own government and rebuild it. The government was bending over backwards to not give in to the COVID situationship. So military trusted Sweden to come back to its senses. However, I don't know if the same can be said about UK. I think it was always giving off bad vibes. And we would like to see cultural diversity, so military also have to reinstate their culture, of their power status, basically. And you should, as a young person, you should get drafted into UK military. Go ahead. That's where you're gonna have the most power, and you will be able to have the most influence. And fuck yeah, dude. What, they're gonna try and kill you? Good luck with that. Try to brainwash you? Reject you? Nah. Take as much as you can get. Now, I probably need to calm down and just double check if I have the luxury to be able to yab this fucking hard. And technically, yes, because I don't actually have hate comments. I'm not sure, in Domination episode, I probably have to make exception when the comment fucking lays down upon me. I have to let it sit there. You know, I can't ban anyone, for example, on Domination, because I'm dominating, so it's like, you're not important. I'm not gonna stomp insects during my Domination series, you know? I'll just allow you to talk the same way that these people are talking to the TikTokers, right? I actually closed TikTok for no reason.
I was offered thousands to rent my house to migrants, and then told my area wasn't good enough for them.
But then it was good enough, and
Then
it was good enough eventually, and then he refused. He said no. And now he's asking was that a good idea?
Did you know that in Ireland, refugees are more welcome than a high-earning, critical skills worker who are paying huge amount of taxes?
That's a big-ass insult, basically. You know? It's your money. You decide what to do with it, and you have to escape countries that leech your money and bleed your money somewhere else. where it doesn't belong, where you're not getting what you like. People found the magical thing of being in denial. And it's like, it's so easy, bro. I just deny everything you say. And it's like, yeah. But you have to speak gibberish in order to achieve that. You cannot be reasonable. You cannot say no because blah, blah, blah. You can't say that. You just deny. And unfortunately, there's no reply to these people. Are just going to call out, you're denying. You're in denial. That's it. That's all I can say to people like that.
Of bombings of any country not officially at war.
Yay! They have imported war. Cultural enrichment.
Only after Mexico.
I felt like you're not a refugee. There is no multicultural in Sweden or Europe. There are parallel societies that are dysfunctional.
Parallel societies. They don't coexist. And clearly this was a mistake and should be rewinded before martial law has to be declared.
Why are so many balcony?
I would love even my own country to just declare martial law of like, nah, we don't want no property fucking tax. That would be fucking amazing. Again, that's the only reasonable way to overthrow the government. The government could magically respect a protest, but usually it's not enough. Usually that just makes them laugh of like, you guys can't do anything. Well, we try to be nice to you. Can't we try? So technically, yes, people have to gradually try worse and worse things to be able to combat what they don't like. We don't like no property tax. Let's try it without that fucking garbage, okay? It makes things a lot more complicated than it's supposed to be. So I have work to do technically, but Lithuanians don't fucking listen to me. They're kind of cringe. It's a bandit-like culture. We're close to Russia, and we have a very complicated language. Luckily, I am safe. Personally, my mom's safe, so it doesn't seem to actually be a reasonable thing to say. But just because you are safe does not actually mean you're not surrounded by bandits. And technically, my mom was not safe. I'm now realizing, no, my mom got the other edge of the blade, other end of the sword. No one would attack me, and that's technically also bandit-like behavior because, we don't want to deal with you, dude. Why? What are you doing in your life that you don't want to deal with someone like me? That sounds sus, you know? Oh, you don't want to deal with me. I take that as an insult. Anytime. So it's a bandit-like country, and I'm not sure if the rest of the fucking countries are very similar. But I definitely cannot communicate with my level people over here. Nah, these are fuckers. I'm way higher than them.
Sweden's history. I saw how the Swedish government and the Swedish system was failing and betraying their own people, and a conversation is not going to be had in Sweden until maybe 2030. And I'm so sick of waiting for the Swedes.
Very, very smart, very intelligent, and I feel a little bit dominated for not culturally enriching you guys.
Stefan Thompson, content creator, who was also
Okay, that makes things easier for him.
Opportunity.
I mean, obviously, this guy came from his country to be able to improve his life. And I can't wait to go to America to support Trump in his whatever endeavors, because his endeavors are going to bleed into beyond the apocalypse. He's going to be able to escape and see the world for what it really is. Because the world that never stops improving is just a very tricky, challenging situation right now, where a lot of people think they have a lot of power, but it's wasting them. It is wasting their potential. It is destroying their lives. In other words, they are being dominated by me right now. And anyone else like me. I can untangle the drama, I can untangle the memes, I can untangle underdeveloped people, and I can protect overdeveloped people. And I am your father. And as your father, not only I need subscriptions, I need interacting with you and seeing where you are in development process. You might even get your rent paid if you interact with me, if you're close enough with me as I grow, you know, if you just give in to the cult-like behavior that I possess, on quotation marks, because I actually care about other people, you know. And I want to pay for their meals, I want to pay for their stays, I want to pay for their trips and journeys, I want to do all kinds of fucking self-improvement things that people refuse to do by themselves. Instead, they end up being keyboard warriors. And that's it. They don't even upload any content. They don't even have a worldview to share to the rest of the world. You're just a fucking keyboard warrior then. And it's an actual insult. I just didn't know why it was an insult back in the day because that's all I was able to do. But now that I'm able to upload videos, you gotta do more than just be a fucking keyboard warrior and get your shitty amount of likes that you cannot do anything with. EK is doomed to make radical changes to their life and as exposes the world of bad decisions. It's just bad decisions. It's you have to get what you paid for. Because you pay with blood, sweat, and tears. It's expensive to spend money on anything. And government who doesn't understand that money takes time to be made is absolutely corrupted and despicable. Or capitalism is collapsing at the same time, which is also true. I still cannot dominate you away from capitalism. I can only see what's happening, but I cannot invent the newest, best Bitcoin there is. Surely there will be a Bitcoin. Like, internet can actually pool money, extract money out of people, and turn that money into digital money. Just basically burn it. Exchange it to digital money. We can always do that. We can always throw $1 and turn it into a bunch of fucking cryptocurrency. It's just, we don't have a popular enough cryptocurrency that buys us things easily. Popular and convenient, because Bitcoin ain't it. And shitcoins are not it either. Even the biggest fucking crypto head, Mr. Ray Noodle, couldn't fucking do it. Couldn't actually deliver a crypto game that he promised us. And it's like, what? So who's gonna do it? Someone has to do it. Again, so many people are investing right now into AI generation content, and you should too. It's actually the greatest thing. This is an opportunity to open a portal to a new cryptocurrency, to a digital currency where people would want to actually throw money into. So they start generating AI content. And that's just the start. Anytime you have a product, you can actually turn that into cryptocurrency culture. And that's the next thing I want to see. I want to see capitalism be challenged, because with capitalism comes competition. The funny thing is, you can compete versus capitalism itself. You can compete versus the dollar. And that's the domination yet to come, my friends. Thanks for watching.